Better Call Saul Season 6 Episode 7 has just released on Netflix and AMC, and we get an incredibly climactic one, yet also a big tease in the mid-season finale. From the execution of the plan to take down Howard, to the intense set of events surrounding Lalo, things just got extremely scary for the second part of Season 6. In this spoiler review, I'm going to be giving you my recap of Better Call Saul Season 6 Episode 7, entitled Plan and Execution, alongside discussing my general thoughts of it. But before I get into it, if you want to see more videos on the final season of Better Call Saul, then don't forget to support this video by giving it a like rating, subscribing to the channel, and turning on your notifications. Also, feel free to check me out on Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and Instagram at Cortex Videos, which is all linked in the description below. But without further ado, let's dive into my recap and review for Better Call Saul Season 6 Episode 7. So in the Better Call Saul Season 6 mid-season finale, we finally get to the dark plan of Kim and Jimmy, where they aim to put the last nail in Howard's reputation and career. It's a tale of two men who both have similar thoughts towards their enemies, but one ultimately receives a more brutal outcome. This comes with both Howard and Lalo's reaction to plans that have gone against them, and you could say it's also a reflection of both the Breaking Bad and the Better Call Saul world. Of course, Breaking Bad would show us the full extent of numerous deaths throughout its history, while Better Call Saul has a more reserved legal drama format as the more defined focus. But now, this is the moment where we are fully propelled back into that Breaking Bad world, and we see the consequences of the actions that take place. Better Call Saul makes a character death all the more significant, with that of Howard Hamlin in Episode 7 being quite the brutal and devastating one to see unfold. After Episode 6, we all had predictions on what would happen, and while we mostly had those that came partially true, the way they took place was something that Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould have delivered in such an unpredictable way. And Thomas Schnauz has to be given the main shout out for once again directing a stunner of an episode in this show. In Episode 7, it turned out that Jimmy and Kim's plan was to make Howard go crazy during his important Sandpiper case meeting. Of course, Judge Casimiro had a broken arm, and it was a problem that they had to quickly deal with, as we see with Jimmy grouping up his filming team and the actor rushing around to quickly reshoot the photos before releasing the chemical that we learnt about in the previous episode. They reshot the sketchy photos of Jimmy handing the fake Casimiro a bribe, then with not much time left, they had to give these to Howard's PI, Janidowski, who yes, turned out to be a fake PI. So during the meeting, with a reintroduced Irene also present in the room, we get Howard reacting to the photos that his fake PI showed him and making a claim that the real Casimiro, who also entered the room, was in on a bribe with Jimmy. He firmly asks for his assistant to get the photos from his office as proof to show the rest at the meeting, but Jimmy and Kim are listening in, and so far the plan is working. The chemical really takes its toll on Howard, with him sweating and hyperventilating in front of everyone, as it turns out that the fake PI has even replaced the photos of Casimiro that he asked to be fetched, with them this time including a random student filling the part of Casimiro in the photos instead. After he realizes he's been conned, Howard desperately explains to Clifford Main afterwards that the office got a phone call that they'd need to switch their security, and his guess is that HHM fell for the con that involved Jimmy and the fake PI. So as a whole, Howard is made to look a fool in front of everyone, becoming a conspiracy theorist, and it leads to the Sandpiper case being settled. Jimmy has won, Howard has lost, but what do the consequences of this all mean? Well, I will get to that right after we discuss the other plot thread of this episode in Lalo Salamanca. Like I was getting to before, Lalo is actually quite the dark reflection of Howard in this week's episode. They've spent their recent time believing that their enemy has a plan to destroy them, and while both are right, it's their distinct world and reactions to them that are totally the opposite. Lalo wants the proof that Gus Fring is working against the cartel, and this has set him on a path across borders and even countries to get it. Now he finds himself in sewers, a distorted take on what we saw with Gus and his hidden tunnels the other week. But before everything explodes, Lalo is clearly the type of person who can take the time to really put everything into motion. Or is he? Because as he outlines, the difference is that Gus Fring is too smart. What's also pretty comical here is that the video message that Lalo records for Don Eladio in the sewer is kind of a weird reflection to what we see with Howard, where he goes fully off the rail to Cliff. Lalo says in the recording that he knows that Gus has the super lab, being centered in the sewer right outside, and then Howard himself goes on a rant about Jimmy and how it was all his plan. Both are of course right, but again, the end of this episode highlights the difference between their two worlds and the literal execution part of the title. And coming back to what Lalo does, he eventually calls his Uncle Hector at the medical home, and we quite quickly realise that Mike is recording the call. He hangs up before he can talk to his uncle, and he has a breakdown in the sewer, but he doesn't give up and eventually rings the home back up, explaining to Hector that he's going back to the original plan. A plan A that simply involves killing Gus. Mike then takes this recording to Gus at one of his Los Polos Humanos charity meetings, and the chicken boss appears to agree with Mike that they should stick to the plan of catching Lalo with the underground bunker at his home. But there's a big question surrounding how all of this will go down. Is Lalo really taking up the original plan, or is he just playing this up for the tampered call? And is Gus really going to stick to his and Mike's original plan with killing Lalo at his house? Well, based on Gus hiding that gun at the super lab a few episodes ago, I think he and Lalo both know that this is all going to lead back there. So Lalo going back to the original plan might just be for show, and Gus's plan is to lead him back to the super lab. We'll have to see how this all goes down in the last 6 episodes, but what we do know is that Lalo is not waiting around when it comes to the climactic events that follow. Like I was saying in my predictions video, I wouldn't be surprised if both the Jimmy and Lalo narrative threads fully join together as we enter the back part of this final season. It would be the perfect entry point to Jimmy's transition into the Breaking Bad world, and it would allow the writers the opportunity to connect the dots when it comes to Saul's famous line about Lalo and Nacho in the previous show. And that hauntingly appears to be the case. The ending of Better Call Saul Season 6 Episode 7 is quite the chilling end that will keep us waiting weeks for the consequences to fully form. In the final scene, Howard comes straight round Kim and Jimmy's apartment and finally tells them what he really thinks about them. Just like how Nacho said what he really thought in Episode 3. The only difference is Howard doesn't get to make the moves surrounding his fate. While Howard gives them the full truth, and surprisingly it's Kim who really gets the big telling about what she's become, he tells Jimmy that he's been like this ever since he was slipping Jimmy and that he hasn't changed. And then with Kim, he tells her that she was supposed to be the good one and he doesn't know why she's become this way. He concludes by saying that he thinks they're perfect for each other and that they do it because they like it. And what's so truthful about this is that they were literally making out while they were listening in on Howard's earlier meeting and seeing their plan executed alongside his downfall. They listened in and orchestrated this, yet they didn't even realise the problems he may be facing in his private life and what this could do to him. And while we could have seen what would happen next, the show makes it very clear that no, this is really the end for Howard. That's because with the hint of someone else entering the room, we literally see the candle flame flicker on the table as if a ghost has entered the room from their dark past. And that ghost turns out to be Lalo Salamanca himself. This is the moment where Jimmy McGill and Kim Wexler are gone forever, and this is the moment where the world of lawyers ends and the Breaking Bad world truly begins. Lalo shoots Howard in the head in front of them and states that he wants to talk. And that's it, that's the shocking moment we are left with, and the moment that will only escalate and fully entwine the narrative threads we've seen throughout the show. When Howard shows a new employee how to open a shaken soda can earlier on, and do it in a safe and successful way, we learn that this is completely wrong in the circumstances that surround his death. The world is not a safe place, and it's the way that both Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad have built on this tension, making it so effective and meaningful, especially when things hit the fan. There are truly consequences in this bad world, and now we have seen the first of many big ones left to unfold this season. So what did I think of the mid-season finale for Better Call Saul Season 6? Well, like all the best episodes of this show, it includes all the entertaining comedy, yet devastating consequences too. This finale has of course set up the final 6 and the dark turn that we are going to be taking, but it also shows us the end of one story. And that is the drama surrounding professionalism and lawyers that the show has been so entertaining and comical with at times. Now, the seriousness of the narrative has fully kicked in, and this ending was a painful punch that tells us there's no going back. Of course, we'll have to see if they can stick the landing with the last episodes, but the first 7 have been a masterclass in TV tension, character progression, storytelling reaching its bubbling conclusion, and overall, complete payoff. Again, we're not fully there yet, but I have to be honest, like episode 3, this one is certainly one of the very best of the show. It delivers on its title and gets us increasingly anxious for what's going to happen in the conclusive part of season 6. Now we have to wait over 6 weeks to see where this goes, but what a first half this has truly been, and I think we're in the presence of TV greatness. Better Call Saul hasn't quite yet finished giving us the full transformation of Jimmy into Saul Goodman, but this episode definitely sets in line the final stages of that, and like I was saying, it fully transitions us into the world that we knew from Breaking Bad. Even the cinematography and tense notes of music made me feel like I was watching an episode from the back part of that show. But whatever happens in the remaining episodes this July, we'll have to quickly get on board with the world that we once knew, because like Kim and Jimmy, we're now in too deep. But that was my spoiler review and recap for Better Call Saul Season 6 Episode 7. Plan and Execution is an episode that we have been bubbling to all season, and now the wait for the last 6 episodes is going to be excruciating. The title is painfully reflective of the events, and the writers behind the camera and the team in front should be incredibly proud of what they've given us so far. But what this promises us is a final run of eventful executions, and I honestly can't wait to see how it all goes down. The tension is high and crafted superbly within the episodes we've seen so far, and my gut tells me it's only going to go up from here. We'll have to see, but Better Call Saul is really on the trajectory to accomplish great things come its ending. I'm giving Season 6, Episode 7 of Better Call Saul a rating of 10 out of 10. I will be doing a Season 6 Part 2 predictions video tomorrow and bringing multiple videos over the next week. I'm also going on holiday for 2 weeks, but I've made sure to plan some videos for you guys to watch that will keep you excited in this long build up until the next episode. But to those who have already seen this mid-season finale, what are your thoughts on all the events that went down, and what do you think will happen in Season 6 Part 2? Let me know down below in the comment section, and look out for all of my topical videos due to be released over the next couple of weeks. For more uploads on the final episodes of Better Call Saul Season 6 when it returns this July, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like rating and follow me on social media via the links in the description. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.